Hi everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Sasha Reed and I have loads to show you today. So I've been busy working away, crafting with Alina's dies. Alina has asked me to be on her design team and this is the second month I'm doing it for, and it's been really awesome. So she sent me a huge bundle of stuff. And I've just been creating away and it's been so much fun. So today's video I'm going to show you what I've made with some of the stuff. And then I'm also going to show you some of the other items that have come in from Aliexpress this week. And yeah, hopefully you'll have fun and enjoy it. The other thing I wanted to say now, because I'm going to forget by the time I get to the end of the video, is I don't know how many people are on Alina's design team, but I know there are definitely two others, and one is Crafty Cakes, and the other one I think is Scrap Diva, and they are on YouTube as well, and they're really awesome. So you can get more ideas from them as well in terms of seeing what you can make with all these dies. So everything I'm using, they've also used in some of their videos. So I will link them below so you can go over and check out them, because maybe their style's more your style than mine. I don't know. I just like having lots of options. When I get a set of dies or a set of stamps, I really, really love to be able to see all the things you can make with them. And those two women are just amazing. They're so creative and so crafty. And so I'm going to send you their YouTube video, or their YouTube channel as well, so you can check them out. So I'm going to start with the least closest holiday. So I know Valentine's Day is coming up, but I haven't got around to making anything yet, which I need to because it's only a couple weeks. But I thought, hey, let's jump to Easter. So here we are. These are the dies that I used in the stamp sets that I used, or the stamp set that I've used in these next two cards. So I love this die here. It cuts amazingly well. I thought, oh my goodness, it's going to be a bit fiddly, because whenever you have quite small, thin lines, it can be a bit difficult to cut out, but it cut like butter and just popped right out. And Alina's dies are always really good. They've always got plenty of little holes. I'll see if I can hold it closer. Whoops. They've always got plenty of little holes for you to be able to poke the dies out if they don't come out. So using these items here, I created this card. So we've got Happy Easter. I've used some silver cardstock on the back, and then I used the same silver for the top. And what I did with these is you can either glue them with a fine tip glue pen, but I've got a bunch of those double-sided adhesive sheets. I know Sizzix sells them. Oh, my words are so bad today. Sizzix she sells seashells, right? Oh, it's just not working. Anyways, they're double-sided adhesive sheets. You stick them on the back of your card, and then you run it through your die cutting machine with the adhesive on the back. And then you peel off the second layer and stick it down. I just found that was much easier with these, and it just meant that I was so much more inclined to use them and be creative with them because they're so much easier to stick down. So I've stuck a little bit of tulle on the top, and this is like glitter tulle, so it's got these big chunks of glitter in it. I inked the edges to kind of blend it together. I've inked the edges on this layer as well, and that's using these stitched frame dies. And then on the inside I stamped a little Easter egg because I thought that was quite sweet. So I've got that one card. And then this is a design that I got. There was a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator online who posted a bunch of cards, and she used the happy birthday. And I just loved the idea. So if I can remember her name, I'll put it down below. But I basically got some inspiration from her and adapted it to what I had and used the greens that I had. So I've got 3 layers of green. I've got a darker green, light green, and then the paper green. And then again, I've used the Happy Easter. And then this is acetate. So, you know, when you get your packaging, a gift set from Christmas or whatever, it comes in an acetate box. Save all that, if you have space, because you can cut it out and use it. This acetate is actually from my church when I used to work there. They had all the, you know, the old school projectors where you'd put the sheet of acetate on top of the machine, and then your teacher would be there writing, and then you could see it on the board in front of you. That's just, I have a pack of those, and so it cost me nothing, basically, and then I just use that acetate for making cards. So it's a see-through card, you can see, put my hand under, and again, I use the double-sided adhesive to stick that down, so it means that the back looks nice and clean. And I've stuck a piece, so what I did was I made the card in this green, and I made it like a standard card size, but then I cut off, I think this is about 1 inch, and then so I cut it off at 1 inch. And when I put it together, I stuck my acetate down next, so the acetate's about that big, and then I put the light green layer on top, and then I layered the coloured cardstock on top of that. So the acetate is pinched in between that core layer and the second layer on the top. And then I just repeated with the same at the bottom, and I think I did 1 inch on the bottom as well. And then it's obviously an 1/8 of an inch smaller, I think. And then you can see the inside. I stamped some of those really cute eggs along the bottom. So that's that Easter card. I'm going to stop here and give you a top tip as well. So sometimes with these stamps, because they're not photopolymer, they are, what is it called? Oh, I can't think of the name. They're not photopolymer, so they're a slightly cheaper type of something. Anyway, it's sometimes they don't ink very well, and you can get a bit of a blotchy image. So what you do is, if you've got some Versamark or any kind of embossing ink, what you want to do is stamp it on the Versamark or embossing ink first, and then stamp it off, because the Versamark is a bit of a sticky ink. So you stamp it in there, stamp it off on a bit of scrap paper, and then stamp your image in your ink and put it on your page. And you will find you'll get a much clearer image as well, because it seems to adhere the ink better when it's got that slightly sticky surface. So that's a top tip for using stamps from Aliexpress. It makes it much better. If your image is still not that clear after you've done that, then I would recommend getting a sand eraser or rubber, whatever country you're in. And as you've seen in one of my previous videos, you just gently rub over the top of it, and it kind of roughs the surface a little bit and then allows the ink to also stick to it better. So if you're struggling, try Versamark or an embossing ink first, and then try this sand eraser, and you'll find you'll get a much better image. Next up, I have got these ones. Most of my videos today, or most of my cards today, are made using the sort of frames dies from Alina. She sent me a whole ton of them, and they are so much fun. I use frames dies on cards all the time. And then I got these really cute swapping stamps as well. Lots of my friends have been asking me, what is a swap and what is Happy Mail? So if you watch the two other ladies I've recommended to you, they're in the States, and Happy Mail seems to be a lot bigger of a thing there. So basically Happy Mail is any kind of post that makes you happy. So if you want to send your friend some craft bits that you picked up because you saw them on offer and you think they're fantastic, so you pop them in the post, that's sending some Happy Mail. So you could stamp it with Happy Mail. If you want to swap, so swapping's huge in the crafting community, and a lot of you will probably have heard of it. A lot of people arrange groups to do it, where you'll decide, okay, let's swap something based with these Alina dies, and then everyone will make a project, or however many projects with these dies, and then everyone swaps, and then you've all got ideas of what you could use. Or you might do something like, let's do a sequin swap, and so everyone will bundle in some sequins that they don't use or don't like or have lots of, and you swap them around. I join a advent calendar swap every year, and that's where I make 24 envelopes of craft supplies I don't use anymore, or sometimes I'll die cut a bunch of stuff out with my dies, and then I send all those 24 envelopes to a lovely lady named Amanda, and then she takes all those envelopes and makes sure that everyone gets envelopes in different, 24 different envelopes, and sends them back out. And then every day until Christmas, in the month of December, we get to open one, and that's a swap. So you're swapping an advent calendar. So these are really fun in the crafting world because I do a lot of swapping. So it's quite fun to make a card that says something along the lines of swapping. So with that said, here's my swap card. I got this idea off of Pinterest as well. So I saw another card made similar ages ago, and it's got the cutest little envelope. You can see that, sorry. So I die cut them all out so you can see what they look like. It's got the cutest little envelopes in it. And there we go. And so all I did was I stamped them onto some decorative paper and then fussy cut them out, which is really dead easy because they're rectangular. I hate fussy cutting. Then I poked some holes, just using a poking tool, and then ran the string through them. And underneath is some foam squares to just kind of pop them up. And then I attached it, so you can see there's a layer on the top. So I ran the string underneath that layer and taped it down. And then I taped the whole thing onto the actual card. And then I glued on with some glue dots 2 matching bows. So there's the Swap Diva, and then on the inside I added those cute little stamps for fun. And these ones came out a bit blurry, but then I just stamped them in Versamark and then stamped them on the card. So that's my first one. And then my second one was this one here. And this was another idea. Well, I saw a template and I just thought, oh, I could use these smaller dies and I could make up a really fun card. So this is 3 different sizes. So there's this one, and then there's the second next largest one, and then there's a small one. And then I used some of that paper that I got. So all this paper is from that craft haul I got from Every Crafts a Pound. And then this is some of the more expensive paper I got from that shop, but it's got glitter on it, so I thought that was quite fun. So I tried to intentionally die cut out the ones that had the most glitter on. And then I added some little embellishments on it to make it pop a bit more. And then I stamped Alina's butterflies on the inside to kind of go with it. So that's my next card. Those aside. Then I decided to try another nail card. So I've got these dies that I used and this stamp set. I haven't used the borders yet. They look really cool. But I used Happy Birthday from this stamp set, and I used these dies. And I saw this on one of my other favorite YouTubers, Natasha Foot's YouTube channel, where she took a bunch of squares and then she assembled the background. And so I thought I would try that using Alina's dies. So this is 3 different, these are 3 different sized dies. So it's the smallest 3, I think, or the second smallest, and then 3 up. I can't remember what I did. But anyways, I basically just die cut a whole bunch of them out, glued them all on the background, and then I stuck it on with some foam. So this pops off the card, and then I stuck on with foam again the Happy Birthday, and then I just cut out banners out of them and stuck 2 little embellishments on. And I don't think I stamped the inside. So there's that card, and that was made with the stitch dies. Sorry, I realized I sniff a lot in my videos, and I don't know why. I think it must be some kind of weird habit I do, because I don't think I sniff that much in real life, so I'm very sorry. I'm trying really hard to be conscious of it. So the next one is the same idea, but I use these 3 sets. So these flowers, oh my goodness, look at them. I had no idea. I looked at them and I'm like, oh, they're pretty flowers, but then when I die cut them, they are stunning because they emboss it as well as cut it, and they just popped out. Not one of them stuck. They were amazing. And I love these border dies. They're really pretty. I've used them quite a lot. And then I've used, the only thing I used from this was I used Just For You, and I stamped those out. And I'll really quickly show you while I've got these ones here, the other thing I did with them, because I was having to play and I haven't stuck them on cards yet. So that's the matching dies. I'm missing the one that I used to cut them out. But they're like, they're not 3-step stamping, they're like 4-step stamping, so you get 4 different stamps. So it's really helpful if you've got a stamping, like stamping plate, where you can line them up and then pick it up with the stamp and then stamp it down. Message me if you don't understand what I'm talking about. So I made these bows using 3 different inks on each one, and they are stunning, and they cut beautifully, and they were really fun to stamp. So just really quick, that's the bows from the set. You get 4 different bows in this one set. So the ones I used, these ones here, there's the base layer, then there's the outlining layer. Try and stick it on something white. And then there's the center layer, and then that's the bow bits, those filling in the shading. I don't know how to describe that. So that shading bit there. So they're quite good, and every single one of them has all those different elements to it. So those are really fun. That's a side note. Oh, now I can't get them off. Okay, so the card I made so I used the Just For You from that one stamp set, and I used those dies and those dies, and then this is what I created. So if you can see, look at those flowers. Aren't they beautiful? And they just make such a beautiful background. And what I did was I tied it. So you see it's a bit of tulle. I made a, what do they call it? Belly band for the card. So if I pull this off, so it's just tulle, and then I glittered, it's really hard, sorry, the light's shining down here. I Winka Stellared the edge, so it's slightly shiny. And then you can see I've tied it on the back behind here, so it's nice and tucked away. And it's a belly band, so that you can then just open the card. And I didn't put anything inside it. But how stunning are those flowers? And this is the same thing. 3 different flower sizes, and I just layered them all. Actually, no, it's more than that. I just used all of them. So I think they must all be quite similar in size. I think these 2 look really similar. But I just basically cut them all out, I think 5 times through the Big Shot on some plain white card. And then I stuck them all down, and then I've obviously stuck it on with foam adhesive. Don't look too close because my ripping capabilities with this sticky foam is not very good. So yeah, so that's that card, which goes like that. Then my last and my favorite one goes back to using these dies again. That one there. And I used this stamp set. Now, one of the people on my last video commented, and I hadn't even picked this up, it says nothing can't beat snail mail. And it should be nothing can beat snail mail. So that's a bit incorrect. But I wasn't planning to use that stamp. But she's pointed that out, so I'm very sorry on behalf of Alina that that's not correct. But on this one I've used the Love Is in the Details stamp from this one. And now what I've done with these are really fun because all of these dies, these big shape dies, you can use to cut your own card base. So here I've cut my own card base with them. So I took the largest die out of the set, and I took some, it's more like paper rather than card, so I have backed it. But I've just made my own little card, like that. And now I've stuck in another layer of the cardstock just to make it slightly thicker, so it's not so flimsy. And I've got another one in my office that I'm working on right now, coffee themed, with Alina's coffee stamps that I couldn't help myself with and had to buy. But I have cut about 15 of these cards, and they're not huge. They're still decently big. They're decent, like this is a bog standard card size. And then that's, you know, using die cut. So it's not far off of a normal standard card. But I thought these are quite fun for just little note cards. Quick and simple. So I've just layered the inside with another one the same color just to sturdy it. And same on that one. And then on the front, this in the background, sorry, is, I think it's the 3rd size up, that size there. And I cut it out 3 times and just stuck it down, just to add a bit more character. And then I used the 4th size up for the sentiment. So it's a lot of the same dies, but I haven't used any other dies on these cards. It's just that one die set. And then I just went through my stash of what I had, and I had some of this, whatever this stuff is called, and then I've got some gold thread, as you've seen in my last video, my obsession with the thread, and then I've used twine here, and some of this ribbon, and I noticed Alina has some of this on her shop as well. I bought this from the dollar store in Canada when we were last home, but Alina has pretty much the same stuff on her shop, so I just cut a chunk and stuck it down, and then these are all on foam, so that they pop, they pop off a bit. So the paper I got from a craft market I went to, and they had these big bundles of paper on offer for a $5 for a massive stack of 50 sheets of random different ones. And I love them, so I picked them up, and I've got some in the brown with a slightly different design, which I'm using to make a coffee card. So I will show you that in the next few days. But these are my little note cards, and I absolutely love them. Another top tip I'm going to share with you. These dies can be really, really difficult to cut on the big ones, and I'll show you why. So the little ones, they are attached at two sides, so you can just twist them and they pop right out. The big ones, so let's see, this one is like the little one, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just twisting it and it just pops right out. But the problem is when you get to the bigger ones, it's pinned at the top and both sides, so it is a bit of a nightmare to get out because you don't want to bend the die too much, but you've got to bend it to be able to snip that bit out. And you will need some snips. I tried with just my fingers and could not, because they're pinned down here as well as the top, get them out. So I will link below. If you're in the UK, you can have a look. I got a pack of these, 2-pack for something like £3. Not expensive at all. These are fine tip wire cutters, this is what I think they're called. But if you look at them, it's just all cutting. There's nothing to get in the way. And so what I did was I just bent it as much as I could without permanently bending it, and then I wedged these in there and then just snipped them. The other thing they're really good for is, I don't know if you can see, there's that little edge, and sometimes that shows up when you cut your dies. You get this little poke. These are great because you just lean them against the edge and then you just snip that bit. And then if you need to, you can come in and snip it a bit further and a bit closer. So I really recommend a pair of these when you get your dies. For any dies off of Aliexpress. A lot of name brand dies even have them attached. But they're really great. So you just push them against the side, and then now that's nice and smooth and you won't see that on your card. So these are great. Then I wanted to show you, because I've just been having a little bit of a play as well. We've got Alina's, this one here, which is a, what are they called? Rosette. So you need 2 or 3 of these to make a complete rosette, or you can trim it down and make a smaller one. But I just thought I'd make up something, so I made this little fan. So this is one length, and what I found easiest was to cut this first, and then put one of these on the end of the paper that you've already cut, and then cut that out. Otherwise I found you got a gap in between the bottom die and the top die, and then it meant that the paper joined to the rest of your sheet of paper, so it wasn't even, like, you had to manually cut it out, and it just, there were a couple lines, it looked a bit funny. So if you cut your base of your rosette first and then add your die on the top, it works much better. But if you're doing a rosette, you need another 2 or 3 to make this round, but it would be a massive rosette. So if you see that side and you add another 2 or 3 to this, your rosette's going to be giant. But if you snip your paper along like the middle, then your rosette will be much smaller as well. But I did that little fan just for fun and added some tulle to it. So that's that little project. And right, I will show you, oh, this set here, I'm really excited about this. I've got this in my office right now. I am making a cute little mini album using this one because it's huge. And I'm also going to be making a card base out of it because this is dead easy to line your card up. I didn't show you how to do that, sorry. All you need to do is take a bit of card, you fold it in half. When you put your die on to cut it out, if I get those ones, where have they gone? Here they are. I'll just show you really quick how you do this, just in case you aren't aware. So you get your largest die out. When you go to cut it out, what you do is you line it up on your paper so that your edge is just showing through, so that that line isn't getting cut. And then the rest of it will die cut out, and then you're left with your shape, like that. If you go, let's say, too far, where you've got like a, move that out of the way, where you've got a big gap like that, it'll just mean your card looks a bit more wonky because the pattern won't line up. So if you get it right on the edge, but so you can still see that fold, then you get a nice even shaped cut and it looks like nothing's missing, if that makes sense. So on this one, it's much easier because you're going to put that fold line just under it, and because it's square, you won't notice at all. If it's, I mean, you could go quite a bit under and make it smaller. So that's quite fun. So I'm doing a project with those in the office right now. Then my Aliexpress haul. I have had all these washi tapes come in this week since my last video. I'm not going to unroll them all, I'm just going to literally show you them. because I'm aware my video is already getting quite long. And I'm looking for my little remote control to zoom in, because I don't really want to keep holding them up quite high. Here we go. So I've got this really pretty flower, purple flower washi tape. Then I've got some foxes. How cute are they? I got ice cream cones. They're fun. Coffee cups. I love fun coffee cups, so I got those. I will link all these down below. I think they came from the same site. Got birdies. Bumblebees. I'm not a fan of, like, I mean, I like bees, but I wouldn't go out and hang out with them. But they're cute. And then I've got some more butterflies. And this was the best find. So this is a bit sticky because that's where they sealed it. But this, it's not, I mean, it's non-shed, but it doesn't feel like non-shed. It's not that cheap plastic one. So when you rip it, it kind of snaps its plastic. This is paper. It's actual paper washi tape and glitter. And I've seen these. I know Stampin' Up! Had them for their celebration, and they marketed them at being like £10 or something for 3. And I know that in the craft world, this kind of washi tape, glitter washi tape, is much stickier. It's like proper sticky tape, and it's paper and it doesn't snap, and it's beautiful, really glittery, mega glittery. And this was about 80p on Aliexpress, and I will link the seller below because I've gone and ordered almost all the other colors of it because I love it. It looks like proper glitter, and it doesn't leave that kind of sticky, nasty residue that the other non-shed kind of glitter you can get leaves. So I was really happy with this find. So that's great glitter. And then I got this one, which I thought was kind of fun. It was only £1 something, maybe £1.30, and it came with all these washies. And so there's not loads on there, but sometimes all you want is a bit of everything. And so this is a great little sample box, which I quite liked, and it's got a couple thicker ones. I thought my daughter would just love them, so I will probably actually nick some too. But you got some really tiny little thin ones. Oops, sorry, I'm not on camera. And they're great. So this is a little bit off-cut, but never mind. And it's just unicorn themed, so I will link that below as well. There's the last one. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Please do like, subscribe, please comment. The more comments I get, the more likes I get, the more views I get, and that's quite fun. It's quite exciting watching my numbers go up and up and up. And so I'm really grateful for your support. I'm really grateful for you joining me when I post videos. Please do share with your crafty friends if you find my videos helpful and fun. And I will be posting, hopefully again, at some point next week, a whole bunch of my next chunk of makes with my Alina dies. I am also going to be making another wedding guest book album, so I'll be working on that this week, and I will show you that in one of my videos as well. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. I hope you feel inspired, and I hope you can go and get crafty. But please do comment if you have any questions, or if you even like the video, just leave me a comment. I would absolutely love to hear from you. I respond to every single person's comment, and I try and make that my goal each morning. If I'm not at work and I'm working from home, then I try and make sure I respond to YouTube first thing in the morning when I get up. So thank you very much. Take care. Bye.